Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we are going to have quite a lot of heavy showers and thunderstorms around, especially as we head through to Monday, where the activity has increased on the latest UKV. We could see moderate to high levels of Cape, and we see an upper trough moving in, so there could be a lot of heavy rain and thundery rain around through Monday, and in the days preceding it and following it we could see more thunderstorms, so we have to keep a really close eye on that. Temperatures will be on the up over the next few days, more into the low 20s as we return back towards average in terms of the upper air temperatures, which is one positive, but that probably is going to fuel some of these thunderstorms as well. As we head into the longer range, we are still seeing signs of high pressure pushing in, but we continue to see these little pesky lows arriving from the Atlantic, continuing to give more changeable conditions through the second half of July, where we could see days of warm, sunny, dry conditions, temperatures into the mid to high 20s, equally days of cooler, wetter conditions scattered among them. So not looking likely to see anything massively sustained. As I said, the best word to say really is changeable. Some great days, some really nice, pleasant, summery days, other more poor, thundery, showery days mixed in there. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now if you start on the live radar, you can see it is a mixed day today as well. You can see further southwards we've got generally drier conditions, but within those drier, warmer conditions we have got thunderstorms breaking out, a classic convergence zone across southern England here. You can see how these storms are mainly forming in lines, a line here heading from Bath through towards Kent, through Tunbridge there, and another line right along the coast from Exeter through Southampton, just to the north of Brighton there. Our convergence zone is where we get winds hitting each other, forcing the air to rise, essentially allowing those clouds to build in this line, and that's what we're seeing here. Northerly winds coming in with the lower pressure system that is out towards the North Sea, and then southerly winds pushing in as a sea breeze. And that's why these convergence zones normally happen near the coast, and that's why we're seeing this as a classic sort of convergence area across southern England. We do regularly see this through the summer, not so much this summer, as we have not had that much energy around in terms of warmer, sunnier conditions, lots of cloud and rain, and generally cooler temperatures. And we just haven't quite had this setup, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. So if you are in these areas, lots of heavy, slow-moving rain, but to the north and south of these convergence zones, it's sunny and dry. You just might see some big cumulonimbus clouds off in the distance. Now, for much of England and Wales, apart from that convergence zone, it's pretty decent. Got a bit of rain across northwest England, into parts of Wales, stretching into the Midlands here, and that is all due to the remnants of rain that's getting brought in off the North Sea coast. This is where we've got an area of low pressure, a trough out in the North Sea. It is fairly stationary. The main area of rain is never fully coming inland, but we are seeing peripheries of that rain. You can see the heaviest stuff is offshore, but you see bits and bobs coming into northern England there and into eastern Scotland as well. And that's going to continue over the next couple of hours, overnight tonight, and eventually it will slowly peter out. So you can see it's a mixed bag today. Warmer, sunnier conditions if we put on those temperatures. You can see where we avoid the showers in the south, temperatures into the low 20s, but up towards the North Sea coast, much cooler as we have that cloud and rain. So a very mixed, changeable day today. Some very poor conditions out there, some pleasant, summery conditions out there, and that is likely to continue over the next few days. Best conditions actually look across the Republic of Ireland, away from that low out in the North Sea. Now, if you do have a look at the latest UKV, you can see as we head through Saturday evening, you can see some of that heavy rain does push inland for a time overnight Sunday, but you can see into Sunday morning it slowly peters out, comes light and more patchy. But we could still see a good half an inch of rain, maybe even a bit more than that, falling throughout the next 12 hours before it eventually dissipates away. As we enter Sunday, the remnants out of that rain across northern England, but it really will just be patchy light rain and drizzle. Elsewhere, a bit of thicker cloud around associated with that trough, but just generally, again, dry conditions with a few heavy thundery showers breaking out, maybe across the Republic of Ireland and anywhere we see a bit of sunshine. But the main activity is as we head into Monday. You can see a trough arise from the southwest, and you can already see heavy showers out in the Atlantic start to push inland through Monday afternoon. And you can see a real hefty area of rain there pushing up for the far south coast, and then you can see it eventually expands into a larger area of heavy showers and thunderstorms through Monday afternoon into the evening. So it could be very lively up and down the country. And the reason for this is, as I said, we've got a trough of low pressure, a small weak area of low pressure, but enough to give the lift. And we can, if we look at the upper air temperatures, you see a little warm wedge of air pushing it in the fast bottom right there. That's feeding into this area of low pressure, giving it extra energy, and we can see that all reflected in the mixed level Cape. You can see higher levels of Cape here across much of England and Wales, massively compared to today, where we've got very little Cape around, and the next day or so, where it is moderate in a few areas, low to moderate, but nothing crazy. And then we see a lot more Cape arriving with that trough through Monday into Tuesday, and that's really pepping up those thunderstorms, and it could last into Tuesday as well, the 16th. So yeah, it could be very lively Monday and Tuesday coming up with lots of hefty showers around. That Cape level is quite a bit higher than it was yesterday, so trending in a probably a bad direction really if you want dry conditions. So it could be really thundery indeed in places through Monday and Tuesday. And if we go back to the precipitation, you can see eventually through Tuesday we still see more scattered thunderstorms, but still thunderstorms nonetheless. And then slowly into Wednesday, it's slightly drier, but into the afternoon, we start to see a low pressure system arriving from the southwest. This gave big impacts in yesterday's run, where it was more over the top of us. Here, we just have the periphery of the main weather front. The actual centre of the low, you can see, is off the coast of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland there. So a big shift a few hundred miles further north and westwards. And that means that, yes, it will rain for a time, but once that weather front clears, it'll be drier once again. So that's a positive. If we were stuck more towards the centre of the low for most areas, then we'd see a lot more hefty showers around, but trending away. So through the late hours of Wednesday into early hours of Thursday, heavy rain moves through for a few hours for all, but eventually does clear out into the North Sea. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see this afternoon temperatures at best where we have that bit of sunshine, really only showing sort of 17, 18 degrees here, but in reality it is a little bit warmer in that sun. As we head into Sunday, again, where we avoid that rain and cloud further northwards, where it still be a bit cool, 20, 21. And then as we head into Monday the 15th, look at that. Temperatures where we avoid the thunderstorms, 23, 24. But we see the thunderstorms mid-teens. And the same could be said for Tuesday, 23 degrees, 24 degrees. We avoid the thunderstorms, which is most areas. But where we see the scattered thunderstorms further northwards, then it is going to be cooler. As we head finally into Wednesday, again, similar conditions, 24, 25 degrees ahead of that weather front. So very pleasant conditions, but eventually that weather front sweeps through as we head into Thursday and most likely will cool things down. Now, to have a look at the latest GFS, see what is in store for the next couple of weeks. Again, you can see that trough out in the North Sea, this little area of yellow, that's the trough. At the moment, it is a weak area of low pressure, but still low pressure, nonetheless giving us that rain and cloud. Over the next couple of days, we see that next trough arrive from the southwest through Monday, and that gives us our thunderstorms through Monday and Tuesday, eventually moving away. And then we see this other low arrive in the GFS as actually pushes further eastwards, so it could be slightly more impactful there through Wednesday into Thursday, but it does very quickly move through and fill in, which means should only see impacts from this for maybe 12 hours, where some other runs were holding it over the top of us for a number of days. So at least that's one positive. Yes, it's slightly deeper, it's over or directly over us, but it will move through much faster. And see by Thursday, Friday, high pressure built in, looking very pleasant. And if we put on the upper air temperatures, looking pretty warm, temperatures back towards average. So we're looking at mid-20s there. Days following that, we still see low pressure trying to push in from the north, but high pressure continues to hold on. But right at the end of the run, we see kind of the worst nightmare, which is a big, long-fetched northerly wind. Now, it doesn't look terrible here. Again, it's not horribly low pressure. If you look at the upper air temperatures, we are still in positive territory. But for middle to second half of July, this is horrendous. If we look at the temperature deviation, you can basically see all of the Arctic air is being deposited into northern and western Europe. And you can see lots of Europe here is around 4 to 6 degrees or more below average. Very chilly for the time of year. So hopefully that doesn't come off. It is in the final day or two of the run. I did want to just look at that because that would really be a big little cold snap there towards the end of the month. Have to wait and see, but for the time being, it looks like it is a warming and hopefully drying trend. If you compare to the GM, again, got that trough out in the North Atlantic, that next trough, North Sea, next trough arriving from the Atlantic into Monday and Tuesday. Eventually, we see that next area of low pressure arrive Wednesday, Thursday, further out in the Atlantic, but it does take a bit longer to move away. And then at day 10, look at this, high pressure is firmly in control for much of England and Wales, extending northwards. And the biggest change is look at those upper air temperatures. The 15-degree isotherm is in, something we've not seen in quite a while. Again, it's not anything out of the world. It's not going to cause anything like 40 degrees or anything ridiculous, but we could definitely just about stretch into maybe the 30-degree range. Here you can see the first day of that very warm air into the mid-20s, maybe slightly high. You see across Europe, 27, 28. So if we held on to that for another couple of days, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 30 degrees somewhere. That would be very warm indeed. But we'll have to wait and see. A very good finish there from the GM. And if we do compare finally to the ECMWF, again a trough out into the North Sea, another trough arriving from the southwest, giving those thunderstorms early next week. That next low arriving through Thursday, but again it moves you quite quickly. Another low arriving, but eventually you see high pressure try to build in on the south. But unfortunately, still those lows to the north, trying to push in colder air. And we kind of see a bit of a battle here between warm air across Europe and cooler air out to the north of Scotland. Hopefully, it's that warm air that wins. But the ECMWF shows here what happens if that low is further eastwards. It could open the door to those northerly winds. Now, we see this well reflected on the ensembles by lots of deviations. Generally, we're around average, but there's some warmer runs, there's some cooler runs from the latest GFS ensembles. You can see, though, it's cool at the moment. We'll be trending back towards average over the next couple of days. You can see the 15th through to the 17th there. Quite a few precipitation spikes indicative of those heavy, thundery showers. And again, that low potentially moving through into Thursday as well. Longer term, you can see it's not massively dry, but it's not massively wet. There's an anomalous operational run spike there. Again, that's very interesting to see. That'll be one of those little troughs moving through, giving an inch or two of rain. Unlikely to play out like that, but it just shows you what could be on the cards if this sort of trophy pattern does continue. But generally temperatures around average, precipitation low but not nil, so again indicative of a changeable showery pattern. So continuing on the same trend we've seen over the past few days. And finally, if we compare to the latest ECMWF, again you can see below average at the moment, returning back towards average and hovering around average for the foreseeable future. You see where the precipitation spikes are appearing next few days, Monday through to Wednesday with those thunderstorms and maybe more persistent rain Wednesday into Thursday, and then some more showery patterns appearing in the longer term as well. Maybe a bit of a cluster around the 21st there in 8 days' time. Bit too far ahead to say anything with too much detail, but need to keep an eye on that as that could be indicative of another little thundery, rainy spell there for a couple of days. Again, it's nothing amazing, but it's a lot better than what we had a week or two ago where it was really quite chilly with lots of heavy rain around. Hopefully things do get generally better, but we are still going to see rain. More likely to be more thunderstorms over the next few days, so more energy in the atmosphere and also warmer conditions at times. But I'm not promising anything spectacular. It really is nothing on some of the summers we've had over the past sort of 5 to 10 years. This is going to be, or it's looking like it's going to be one of the poorest summers we've had. Just hopefully we can see something more moderate through the second half, as June was below average. I looked at the CET earlier, it was 0.1 degrees below average, so not spectacularly below average, but that is because we did have a very warm few days towards the end, but it was for about 2 or 3 weeks really quite chilly, and July is about 1.4 degrees below average so far, so it has been compared to the 1991-2020 mean, a cooler than average summer so far. We'll have to wait to see those precipitation figures at the end. But if you have think it's been a poor summer, the statistics do back it up. Hopefully, as I said, things can change in the next couple of weeks. But we'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.